What's going on, fragrance family? It's your man Gator, better known as the Novice Nose out here in these fragrance streets. Today I'm coming to you with a little bit more of a faster paced review, and the reason why is because I've actually reviewed this fragrance now maybe 3 or 4 times, man. I actually had a little bit of a hiatus a while back, but before I did that, I had that hiatus, I recorded quite a few videos and just was, kind of stockpiling them for later. The review for this fragrance actually was one of those videos that I had, and I thought it was okay, but then I uploaded it to YouTube and I actually did a playback on it, and I realized that it was corrupted and I needed to go ahead and do a re-record. I tried to salvage it, couldn't do it. Regardless though, it's not a problem because I actually love talking about the fragrance that I'm about to tell you about. Now the fragrance in question here is this guy. This is Dumont's Bravanzo Imperial. Now Dumont has a Bravanzo line. They've got the Vestige, I think is the I think that's a Suspiro Vibrato inspiration. They've got Baron, which is a nice smoky, really like uber masculine type of vibe, man. I actually like that and probably have a review coming up on that soon. And then you have this guy. Now this fragrance is actually inspired by Electimuss's Imperium. As you see, they didn't stray very far with the naming of this fragrance. It is Imperial. And these two, the Electimuss and this one, are almost like tit for tat, one for one, as far as how close they are. This fragrance is very close to the fragrance that it's inspired by. There are some minuscule differences, but we'll get into that a little bit later here. Let me start by giving you the notes on this thing. So the notes on here, the Imperial, top notes are citrus, spicy. I guess those are just accords, really. So the notes are pink pepper, bergamot, and grapefruit. The heart notes are oak moss, incense, and cashmere wood. And then the base notes are amber, musk, white musk, ambergris, and patchouli. Now, that white musk portion is going to actually play a big part in how this fragrance presents. Now, before I go any further, let me get this actually on the strip here, just to kind of refresh the scent memory here for this fragrance. I actually love the way this presents in the air. So when you first spray this on, you're getting a beautiful citrus vibe here. You're getting the grapefruit. It's really tart. It comes across as, even though it's tart, you're getting a little bit of a vibrancy. You're getting a little bit of an effervescence coming from it as well. And that effervescence is actually it's kind of coming from that pink pepper that's in the top. When you put pink pepper in the top of a fragrance, it definitely makes that thing bubble, and it gets really, I almost call it almost fizzy in the way that it presents. Amberful, one of my favorite pickups, another one of my favorite pickups from last year, has that kind of vibe to it. And this has a similar thing going on. Now, an accompanying that is the white musk that's in this fragrance. Now, I mentioned white musk earlier. White musk, there's 2 different musks in here. There's a musk and a white musk. And they differentiate because while musk is your standard clean, vibe here, white musk has the additional property of giving kind of a powdery type of vibe to a fragrance. This has a musky but slightly powdery vibe to it. Now that white musk, partnered with that initial opening of the pink pepper effervescence, along with the way that grapefruit and the other citrus facets present, the way that they are blended together. And this is, as I mentioned before, it does this in the original fragrance as well, the Electimuss fragrance. But the way they marry together, it really surrounds you in this beautiful citric and musky type of vibe here. Clean. It gives clean. It gives this almost elegance to the way that it presents. That being said, it's utility isn't just for like elegant wear. So this is something that you could like wear into the office. This is something that you could wear just running errands. This is something that you could wear if you wanted to just dress it up a little bit. But I'll get into that a little bit later. So that vibe that I'm telling you about, that musky, slightly powdery, citric type of vibe here, it kind of protrudes and goes along for a while. I won't say that it's completely linear. Now, the original fragrance kind of feels the same way, and I actually did test these side by side for a couple of days. The original Electimuss Imperium kind of does the same thing. They're fairly linear in the way that they present, but that in this scenario is a very good thing. You don't go through many changes. You're still getting into hour and a half, hour 2, hour 3. You're still getting that same vibe that you kind of started with, which is a beautiful, musky, citrus, clean type of fragrance vibe. Now, as it goes into like that second and third hour, you start kind of pulling up a little bit more of the woody, and it actually kind of shows its face a little bit before that, but you start pulling up a little bit more of the woody nuance to this. Now, it's not overbearing, it's super slight. The difference between this one and the original is that in the original, I do get a little bit more of a patchouli and oak moss presence in that second and third hour. I do feel a little bit of a change, so it's a little bit less linear. But the linear qualities of it kind of adds to the consistency of the fragrance throughout the day. It allows the fragrance to start off with that beautiful citric, musky, clean nature and kind of stay with that beautiful, clean, citrus, musky nature all throughout the life. So it's gonna be, when you're spraying on, what you're spraying on in the morning is what you're gonna get towards the end of the fragrance day. Now, speaking of the end of the day, this actually lasts a long time. I'm getting somewhere in the range of about 8 hours on skin whenever I've worn this fragrance. I also get on clothes until I wash them. It will stick to your clothing. It will definitely stick to your skin, and it will give you a solid scent bubble. Like when you first spray this on, you're getting somewhere in the range of about arm's length, if not maybe a foot or two more, as far as how much it projects. And then slowly over the course of maybe about 2 hours or so, it starts to kind of shrink in until you get into maybe hour 3 to 4. You're getting basically about a foot to 2 foot bubble around yourself. Now, the good thing about this fragrance though is that it has a sillage that is amazing. And when this thing gets in the air, this is one of those fragrances that if you walk into a room and you walk out of that room, if somebody else walks into that room later, they'll be able to smell you. They'll be able to pick up that you were there. And you still, even in the far dry down, in the 6 to 7 hour mark, you still are picking up a decent amount, more than decent amount of the citric nature of the fragrance. Now, as far as times of the year that you could wear this, it's really one of those fragrances that you could wear all year round. I would be a little bit hesitant to wear it in the summer, and part of the reason why is because when you have musks that are kind of powdery, lean towards that powdery lean, the super uber clean lean, it could be good, but when it gets into the powdery and it gets super hot, then it could be cloying. So I would say if you have super hot summers where you're at, I'm talking about my Louisiana people, my Florida people, you may want to, if you do wear it during the summer, you may want to dial back the sprays a little bit. The good thing about the Bravanzo fragrances here that Dumont put out is that they are strangely powerful. But the good thing about them is that you can make them as situational as you need them to be. You can spray 1-2 sprays and be good on a hot summer day. Or if you're going into like a winter scenario, you could put on, you know, 5-6 sprays, and this one will cut through the cold. So just kind of measure your sprays according to the season and according to the environment that you're in. If you put on 6 to 8 sprays of this and you walk into the office, you may choke somebody out. So just be mindful of sprays when you're getting into those enclosed areas. At the end of the day, man, between the way that this thing presents in the opening, the longevity of this fragrance, the sillage that this thing leaves when you walk around, man, and the uniqueness between all of those things, I struggle with, telling someone that this can't be their signature fragrance. If I had a signature fragrance that I could say, okay, because I got too many to actually call one, but I would consider this. This has the versatility. This has the longevity. This has the compliment factor, because I did get a lot of compliments when I wore this fragrance, the 5-6 times that I wore it during October and November. So between all of those things, I think that this would be a great signature fragrance for anyone that was looking to add a show-stopping or a versatile type of fragrance to their collection. That's all I got on this fragrance, guys. Hey, have you ever worn this fragrance? Let me know in the comments what you think about it. And as always, guys, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, share this video with somebody you know that loves fragrances, guys. And as always, man, make sure wherever you are, whatever you're doing, make sure you make today the best day ever on purpose. See ya.